Ladies and gentlemen, from Deadline, Jim Caviezel thriller Sound of Freedom knocks Insidious Red Door from #1 spot. They can't just write it, can they? Write the headline, Sound of Freedom, box office #1. Just write that. They had to write it in such a way that they don't say it. Even in the article, they don't explicitly say it. They just say like, it hit $4 million and then Red Door was 3.5. So knocked down from, just say Sound of Freedom is #1. Ladies and gentlemen, with your viewing of the film, your support, this film about child trafficking is #1. The reason why I'm so excited for it, parallel economy. Obviously, it's a good movie. You should see it. Obviously, child trafficking is bad, but there are a lot of movies about a lot of issues that we watch. Okay, this is about indie films shifting the cultural narrative onto issues that we need to talk about, problems that need to be stopped, that for a long time they claimed weren't really happening in the weirdest of ways. The Epstein stuff, they said, oh, that's nonsense. And then he got arrested for it. And then Maxwell got convicted for it. And then Prince Andrew got ostracized and shunned for his involvement. And there's a lot of people on that client list we want to know about. Now this movie comes out after 5 years. They try and shut it down. And this is what you can see. A film about an important issue, #1. It's a good film. It's got a 100% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Even the critics like it overwhelmingly. It's like 80%.
That's true.
As
the
much as they try
of critics enjoy it.
Yep. As much as they want to rag on it and say it's a QAnon film, the majority of critics are like, it's a good movie. 80%. And now that it's #1, let's keep supporting films like this so that we can have alternatives to Hollywood and the creepy grooming stuff that they try and do in these films and the weird woke ideology. This is that path forward.
You know, part of what makes this movie so great, I saw it last night, is Jim Caviezel is really feeling this stuff. I mean, you can see it in his eyes. There's just, it's enough of his eye. Like, you are with him. You're in his mind space, and it is so powerful. I don't know what he went through to get into this place where he's at right now, but God bless Jim Caviezel. That man is amazing.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I mean, he was in The Passion, right? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's right.
And he hasn't really done anything major, I feel like, since then. Like, he just comes back for...
Well, this was 5
Well, there's
years
a
ago.
reason. So there's a famous story
Oh, right, they
about
did
how
make
he
this
was
a while ago, yeah.
There's a famous story about how he was cast in The Passion. Mel Gibson called him and said, "Hey, do you want to destroy your career?" And he said, "All right, let's do it."
Love
Did you see that?
The Passion? Oh yeah.
We watched it recently, actually.
Yeah, we actually rewatched it. Yeah, we watched it together.
There's a
film.
lot I learned about in terms of the politics of the era that I didn't know, which I thought was interesting. In terms of this film, it was made 5 years ago. So when you mentioned like he hasn't been doing stuff, he actually was. He was doing this, and then they blocked the film. Now, let me ask you guys: why would Hollywood not run a film like this?
I can't imagine a possible incentive they would have to not want people to care about the issues of child trafficking and other related problems.
You know, their response to it they just tell on themselves. It's like, why are you doing this? At least fake it, you know, like,
Yep.
I don't know. It puts them in a catch-22. Like, they can't support it because they don't want it exposed. But if they, come out against it like they have been, it makes them look sus as fuck.
There's that viral tweet where it's a guy who was like a writer at one of these digital outlets was claiming he tweeted something like, the only reason conservatives keep complaining about kids being shown graphic materials because they secretly want to show kids graphic material.
What?
And then it was like, it's one of those like Defiant L's or whatever, where it's like the next one is writer named so-and-so gets arrested for soliciting images or something like that.
Of course.
This is, all right, it's one of the only jokes the left has is, you're against this thing, I bet you secretly want to do that thing, right?
That's why your video was so good.
Yeah, thank you. We just released one yesterday.
I gotta watch that one.
But if you believe in traditional marriage, you're secretly gay. That's the only explanation. If you're like, I want, literally with every single issue, if you're against grooming, oh, well, actually, you secretly want to groom.
Right.
I'm not kidding. I think I've heard a version of this about literally every topic.
It's true. We get that all the time on Gays Against Groomers, too.
Yeah. You're like secret groomers. Of course, that's the only reason that you'd oppose this.
I think what's that line? Thou protest too much. I think thou protest too much. Is that Shakespeare?
Yes.
Methinks thou protest too much, and there is something to that.
The lady
that someone's constantly talking about how something is evil. Maybe then they are the one that's perpetrating it, and they want everyone to think they're not. I understand that methodology, but that doesn't mean that if you claim something is evil or wrong, that you secretly want to do it.
Yeah, well,
Hamlet.
also
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
we live in a culture where so many horrible, degenerate things have been normalized. So it makes sense that people would pay attention to that and want to fix that. But whenever you do, it's, well, that's kind of interesting that you pay so much attention. That's like, well, one of the number one culture war issues in the country right now. You think it's weird
How
that I'm paying
dare we
attention
care
to that?
about children being abused sexually and otherwise? Like, you freak.
Yeah.
This line is fantastic. It's basically accusing someone of virtue signaling. It is Queen Gertrude in response to insincere overacting of a character to prove his uncle's guilt, blah, blah, blah. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. I'm just going to say that to people now who are virtue signaling.
It's a great play. If you haven't seen Hamlet before, see it. See a good version of it. A good
I've
movie. I
seen
think Kenneth Branagh did
Billy
a good one.
Madison, hold the skull. That's all I've ever seen of it.
Or not to be.
Yeah.
In the play, they do a play. So they're watching actors in
Classic.
the play do this like faux scene about the murder of, I think it's about the murder of Hamlet's father. And then the mother's like, something's off about this. And she doesn't know that her husband murdered her old husband. So her new husband, I could explain this way better. I don't want to spoil it. That's why I'm kind of
you're fine.
scamping around.
But yeah, for
it's
the
a
audience.
400 or 500-year-old play. So Hamlet's mother's and his father is killed in the beginning of the play. So then his uncle comes in and marries his mother. And turns out his uncle killed his father. But his mother doesn't know that. And she's looking at the play like something's off about, and they're trying to, it's a great, absolutely phenomenal story.
Well,
Right,
I'm
right.
going to have to go check that
I hope
out.
I got all that right.
I looked
about
up
time.
I was in it. I played Laertes.
the current numbers for Sound of Freedom from Box Office Mojo, $49,497,837. So that's fantastic. It is Wednesday. If every single person watching this goes and sees it, what is that? That's not enough. That's not enough. We need every single person watching this to bring their friends and family to go see it so that this film can crack $100 million.
Let's do it. Look, I'm willing to see it again. I also think that if you can, it's good to contribute to the free ticket fund that they have for people who can't afford to go see the movie but would like to.
Have you heard about, there's a bunch of videos being shared on social media of people being kicked out of the theaters and getting refunded?
No, I haven't seen that at all.
Yep.
Because there's too many people there?
No. For
Yeah, why are
no
they
reason.
getting kicked out?
News, actually, I think Newsweek reported this. Let me see if I can...
They just don't, they're trying to prevent people from seeing
no idea.
it.
I was going to say, Seamus, would you go together if you want to?
Here you go. Check this out.
Let's do it.
Newsweek,
So you don't
right
have to
here.
go alone.
Sound
I'm
of
down.
Freedom
Let me know
viewers forced to evacuate movie theater video shows. So the report actually brings up that there's several different videos where people in various theaters are told for some reason they got to evacuate the theater and they're given a refund and no explanation why.
There's like Mr. Smiths all over the place trying to get people to, from the Matrix, trying to get people to
my
not
gosh.
see it. They're just like, oh no, there's a fire. You have to leave.
It was a horrifically
Mr.
awesome
Anderson.
movie, man. Oh, geez.
It's a tough watch, right? I mean, it is. There are parts that are very painful, and I'm not sure how much I can say without spoiling it, but it almost what's good about it is at the end you do feel motivated to want to do something, because I don't think, like, just given the nature of the problem, it's not a story that they can just tie in and eat little bow. Like, you get that with Hollywood films a lot. The problem solved, everything's fine, and it gives the audience a sense of satisfaction. It's a movie that you watch and it's impactful and it's more than a worthwhile watch, but you walk out of the theater feeling like there's so much that needs to be done.
Yeah, it's
it
like
doesn't just spoon feed you a victory like so many films do.
Like an archaeology dig where you find some of the artifact, but you've just seen the tip.
Exactly. You see a little bit of it. And there are incredible true stories that are told through that film about people who were rescued, and obviously seeing anyone rescued is a wonderful thing to see, but the film doesn't shy away from letting you know that the problem's far from solved, right? Like, the day has not been totally saved. There's work you have to do.
There's more children being trafficked today than when slavery was legal.
It's
There's
insane.
more slaves
There's
today.
more slaves in the world overall. Yep. Something, 80 million slaves in the world?
People
Let me
in the
double check.
Congo,
I think it is true that there are more child sex slaves today than there were slaves back when slavery was legal. I think
Oh,
it's
sorry.
true as well.
Looks about 50 million slaves in the world. So I was
Today?
off, but yeah, 50 million people in the world living in slavery as of 2022.
How do you even begin to tackle that? I mean, I guess you do what they did and what Tim
There's a-
Ballard did. you
Well,
know?
in the movie, they bring this up. Like, a lot of this stuff is happening outside the U.S. We have no control. Like, it's just not here, you know? So that's what Tim Ballard does. He goes and he,
Yeah, that guy
Put it
is
down.
unreal. I mean,
I think he's here tomorrow, actually.
oh my God, that's fantastic. I wish I was here to
Let
just
me double
shake
check.
his hand,
Stick around.
honestly.
Say hello.
Bless him. I mean, it's really
I
does
just-
incredible
Normally,
work.
we don't announce
Yeah.
guests in
It
advance.
was
or anything
like
that, but let me
tears
check.
of hope.
It's like you feel love, you
he's
feel
on the
rage, you feel sorrow, you feel hope. The film, it takes you on a roller coaster, but the film, it's not just like it's this emotional experience that you'll get from films sometimes where it's totally aimless and they're just manipulating you. It's giving you a real story. It's
Tim
telling you
Ballard
about a real
is here
problem.
tomorrow.
It's giving you
That's
solutions.
so great.
Ballard will be
Wow.
on Timcast IRL tomorrow.
My goodness.
tomorrow night.
My
With
goodness.
Eduardo Verastug.
Oh, he's the director of the film.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very excited for that. Very excited.
That
for
is huge.
Gonna be great.
Maybe I'll push
Yeah.
my flight back. I just want to shake.
I know, I want to shake his hand too.
I just want to say thank
God
you.
bless him.
His wife too. I hope his
Yeah,
wife's
yeah.
here with him. I don't know if she's going to take the trip. They have a lot
No,
of kids.
they're
Yeah,
incredible.
his wife is
an
an
inspiration.
incredible woman. I was reading some of the differences between the film and his real story, and I'll let him share on air what he wants to share when he's here because it'll be more impactful for him. But some of what he said, his wife said, was like, in just her involvement and support is incredible.
Like what a sacrifice for a wife to make.
Yeah.
But oh jeez. Well, we'll go into it tomorrow.
This dude's like, I know we got a bunch of kids, but I'm gonna save a whole bunch of other people's kids. And she's like, okay,
Yeah.
Do it.
it's crazy.
It's incredible.
That was when I
They're-
first cried. Is when I don't want to. I don't think it's spoiling it, but when
Yeah.
she's
Too
like,
soon. It's too soon.
You gotta
Can't
let him
spoil
see it. You gotta let him see it. You people, everyone, really go see
Yeah, I
this
haven't
movie.
seen it yet. I haven't
is-
seen it.
You want to be a part of it. Like this is not a film you want to watch on streaming in a couple months. It
No.
really is not. Like you want to see this in the theater
How did it even
with fellow
get in the
audience
theaters,
members.
though?
That's a good question.
It's more impactful.
I'm really
Maybe we'll find
confused
out.
about that.
Yeah, because it was pushed around
Right.
and rebuffed for 5 years.
Like it's
I don't
actually
know.
shocking that it's not just they have like indie theaters
I know.
in cities. Like it's weird to me that I don't know.
Thank
That's kinda
goodness.
weird.
Well,
no,
it's-
it's great, but how did that happen?
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.